Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel Legal Decipher. In the previous video, we had discussed about the offense of human trafficking as described in chapter 16 of the Indian Penal Code. If you have not seen that video, you can go and check it. The link is in the description below. In this video, we will discuss about the offense of rape along with the variations and their punishments as we go through and understand the substance therein. So if you are new here, please like and subscribe to my channel to get the video notifications. So let's get started. So today we are going to learn that part of chapter 16 that deals with sexual offenses. It starts with section 375 that defines rape. Now we need to first understand that substantial changes were made in the definition of the offense of rape and sentencing by Criminal Law Amendment Act of 2013. This amendment came in the backdrop of the Nirbhaya case. After that, the definition was modified and it presently stands like this. It is said that a man is said to commit rape if he penetrates his penis to any extent into the vagina, mouth, urethra or anus of a woman, or makes her to do so with him or any other person. So if he actually penetrates his penis into any extent into the vagina, mouth, urethra or anus of a woman, or he makes such woman to do such act with him or any other person, then it will constitute rape. Or he inserts to any extent any object or a part of the body, not being the penis, into the vagina, the urethra or anus of a woman, or makes her to do so with him or other person. Or if such person manipulates any part of the body of a woman so as to cause penetration into the vagina, urethra, anus or any part of the body of such woman, or makes her to do so with him or any other person. Or if he applies his mouth to the vagina, anus, urethra of a woman, or makes her to do so with him or any other person. So if he does any such kind of act that are mentioned here in these four clauses, then that will constitute the offense of rape under section 375. The circumstances under which such acts will be done to constitute the offense of rape shall be falling under any of these 7 descriptions that are mentioned here. It says the first condition shall be it should be against her will. That means it should be against the will of that woman. Secondly, it should be without her consent. That means if the act is against the will of the woman and her consent is not there, then it is considered as an offense of rape. Thirdly, with her consent, when her consent has been obtained by putting her or any person in whom she is interested in fear of death or of hurt. So if that person is putting that woman into such a state that she is threatened, she fears the death or hurt of herself or any other person in whom she is interested, say for example her family. Now if by such the consent of such woman is taken, then that does not matter, that will also fall under the offense of rape herein. Now fourthly, with her consent, when the man knows that he is not her husband and that her consent is given because she believes that he is another man to whom she is or believes herself to be lawfully married. So the woman does not know that this is not her husband. She is believing that this is her husband and they are lawfully married. So that man is trying to manipulate that woman and pretend before her that he is actually her husband. So that is why the woman gave consent, thinking that this man is the actual husband of that woman. So if consent is taken by that way, then that will also fall under the offense of rape. Fifthly, with her consent, when at the time of giving such consent, by reason of unsoundness of mind or intoxication or the administration by him personally or through another of any stupefying or unwholesome substance. So consent was given because of unsoundness of mind. or intoxication that was administered upon the woman by that person personally who is trying to rape her, or through another person by any stupefying or unwholesome substance. And that is why that woman was unable to understand the nature and consequence of her consent. Now, sixthly, with or without her consent when she is under 18 years of age. So, if the woman is under 18 years of age, then her consent does not matter. So, whether she has given consent or not, that will not matter. Seventhly, when she is unable to communicate consent. So, when the woman is unable to communicate her consent, then that will also fall under the offense of rape. Explanation 1 says, for the purposes of this section, vagina shall also include labia majora. Explanation 2 says, consent means an unequivocal voluntary agreement when the woman by words, gestures or any form of verbal or non-verbal communication communicates willingness to participate in the specific sexual act. So consent means what? Consent means an unequivocal voluntary agreement. So she has voluntarily agreed. When such woman is expressing such consent by words or gesture or any form of verbal or non-verbal communication, and she communicates willingness to participate in that particular specific sexual act, provided that a woman who does not physically resist to the act of penetration shall not by the reason only of that fact be regarded as consenting to the sexual activity. So if the woman is not physically resisting the crime, still that won't be regarded as a consent on her behalf. So if she is not physically resisting the act of penetration, then that will not constitute her consent over such sexual activity. Now the only two exceptions are that a medical procedure or intervention shall not constitute rape. So whatever the doctor does for the betterment of a woman under any medical procedure or intervention, then that will not be constituted as a rape. And the second exception is that sexual intercourse or sexual acts by a man with his own wife, the wife not being under 15 years of age, is not rape. So if the woman is above the age of 15 years and she is the legally married wife of that person, then sexual intercourse or activities between that man and his own wife shall not constitute rape. Now we must also know that the amendment has enlarged the meaning of the term rape by delimiting its scope. Thus the offense of rape does not require the proof of penile vaginal intercourse anymore. In view of the amended definition of the offense of rape, penetration of any orifice of a woman in the 7 given circumstances shall amount to rape. This penetration need not be by penis as was the case before. Penetrating a woman in vagina, anus, urethra or mouth etc. with penis or any other part of body of the accused or even with some foreign object shall amount to the offense of rape. Making a woman to do so with the accused or any other person shall also amount to rape. It shall amount to rape if the body of the woman is manipulated in a manner that it causes penetration of her own body or body of the offender or a third person in the orifices. If a man applies his mouth to the vagina, anus, urethra of a woman or makes her to do so with him or any other person, that will also constitute the offense of rape. So from these informations it is clear that several case law on the requirement of penetration and the procedure of medical examination on the victim of rape to see if sexual intercourse has taken place or not have become redundant. Also, under the amended definition of rape, the matter of consent shall be governed by the explanation appended to section 375 and section 90 of IPC that will have little relevance in determination of question of consent of rape. Now section 376 talks about punishment for rape. So whoever, except in the cases that are provided in subsection 2, commits rape shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 10 years but which may extend to imprisonment for life and shall also be liable to fine. Now whoever being a police officer commits rape within the limits of the police station where he is appointed, or in the premises of any station house, or on a woman in such police officer's custody, or in the custody of a police officer subordinate to such police officer, or if he is a public servant and he commits rape on a woman in such public servant's custody, or in the custody of a public servant who is subordinate to him, or he is a member of the armed forces deployed in any area by the central or state government, commits rape in such area, or if he belongs to the management or the staff of the jail, remand home or other place of custody, and he commits rape on any inmate of such jail, remand home, place or institution, or if he is in the management or he is the staff of a hospital and he commits rape on a woman in that hospital, or if he is a relative, guardian or teacher or a person in a position of trust or authority towards the woman and he commits rape on such woman, or if he commits rape during communal or sectarian violence, or if he commits rape on a woman knowing her to be pregnant, or if he commits rape on a woman incapable of giving consent, or if being in a position of control or dominance over such woman he commits rape on such woman, or if he commits rape on a woman suffering from mental or physical disability, or while committing rape he causes grievous bodily harm or maims or disfigures or endangers the life of a woman, or if he commits rape repeatedly on the same woman, then in all of these cases that are mentioned here, this person, this offender shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 10 years but which may extend to imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life. So he will be put to jail for the rest of his life and shall also be liable to fine. Now the explanation says that for the purposes of this subsection, armed forces means naval, military and air forces, and it includes the members, also the paramilitary forces and auxiliary forces under control of the central government and state government. Hospital means precincts of the hospital and includes the precincts of any institution for the reception and treatment of persons during convalescence or of persons requiring medical attention or rehabilitation. And police officers shall have the same meaning as assigned to expression police under the Police Act of 1861. Now women's or children's institution means an institution whether called an orphanage or a home for neglected women or children, or a widow's home, or an institution called by any other name which is established and maintained for the reception and care of women or children. Now whoever commits rape on a woman under 16 years of age shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 20 years but which may extend to imprisonment for life, which means imprisonment for the remainder of the person's natural life, and shall also be liable to fine, provided that such fine shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expense and rehabilitation of the victim. Provided further that any fine imposed under this subsection shall be paid to the victim. Now 376A talks about punishment for causing death or resulting in persistent vegetative state of victim. So whoever commits an offence that is punishable under subsection 1 or 2 of section 376 and in the course of such commission inflicts an injury which causes the death of the woman or causes the woman to be in a persistent vegetative state. So while committing rape he injured the woman to such an extent that she died or went to a persistent vegetative state. That means she laid unconscious. Then this person shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 20 years but which may extend to imprisonment for life, which means imprisonment for the remainder of the person's natural life or with death. Now section 376AB talks about punishment for rape on woman under 12 years of age. So whoever commits rape on a woman who is under 12 years of age, then this person shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 20 years but which may extend to imprisonment for life, and that will mean the remainder of the person's natural life, and with fine or with death. Now provided that such fine shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses and rehabilitation of the victim, and Any fine imposed under this section shall be paid to the victim. Now section 376b talks about sexual intercourse by a husband upon his wife during separation. So if the husband and wife are in a state of separation, that means whether they have filed for a divorce and they have been ordered to live in separation, and this man has a sexual intercourse with his own wife who is living separately, whether under a decree of separation or otherwise, without her consent, then this man shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 2 years, but which may extend to 7 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Now explanation says that in this section, sexual intercourse shall mean any of the acts mentioned in clauses A to D of section 375. Now 376C talks about sexual intercourse by a person in authority. So whoever being in a position of authority or in a fiduciary relationship. A fiduciary relationship is a relationship based on trust or faith. So whoever is in such a position or authority, or whoever is a public servant, or he is a superintendent or manager of a jail, remand home or other place of custody for a woman or children's institution, or he is in the management of a hospital or being the staff of a hospital, and he abuses such position or fiduciary relationship to induce or seduce any woman either in his custody or under his charge, and or if the woman is present in the premises to have sexual intercourse with him. So if he does such an act with such woman, then such sexual intercourse not amounting to the offence of rape shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 5 years, but which may extend to 10 years, and shall also be liable to fine. And in this section as well, the term sexual intercourse shall have the same meaning as it is in section 375. And for the purposes of this section, explanation 1 to section 375 shall also be applicable. Now, explanation 3 says that superintendent in relation to a jail, remand home or other place of custody or women's or children's institution includes a person holding any other office in such jail, remand home, place or institution, by virtue of which such person can exercise any authority or control over its inmates. So he may not be actually quote unquote superintendent, but if that person is found out to be in such a condition or authority or control as that he can exercise influence upon his inmates, then he will also be thought to be a person that will fall under the term superintendent. Now explanation 4 says that the expressions hospitals and women's or children's institutions shall respectively have the same meaning as it is having under section 376. Now 376D talks about gang rape, where a woman is raped by one or more persons constituting a group or acting in furtherance of a common intention, then each of those persons shall be deemed to have committed the offence of rape and shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 20 years, but which may extend to life, that means the remainder of the person's natural life, and with fine. And all such fine shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses and rehabilitation of the victim, and such fine will be imposed under this section to pay the victim. Now section 376DA talks about punishment for gang rape on women under 16 years of age. So where the gang rape was committed upon a woman who was under the age of 16 years, then in that case the offenders who have committed such offence shall be punished with imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life, and with fine. And in this case as well, the fine shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses and rehabilitation of the victim, and provided further that such fine shall be paid to the victim under this section. Now section 376DB talks about punishment for gang rape on women under 12 years of age. So where a woman is under 12 years of age and she has been subject to a gang rape, then all those offenders who constituted the offence shall be punished with imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life, and with fine or with death. Now, provided that such fine shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses and rehabilitation of the victim, and provided further that any fine imposed under this section shall be paid to the victim. Now, section 376E talks about punishment for repeat offenders. So, whoever has been previously convicted of an offence that is punishable under 376, 376A, 376AB, 376D, 376DA or 376DB, and he is subsequently convicted of an offence punishable under any of these said sections, then he shall be punished with imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life, or with death. So that was the entire part that covered the offence rape. Now the next part, which talks about unnatural offences, has only one section, that is section 377, which talks about unnatural offences. It says that a person who voluntarily commits sexual intercourse against the order of nature. So if he commits any sexual intercourse that is unnatural, then he shall be punished with imprisonment up to 10 years. And explanation says that penetration is sufficient to constitute the carnal intercourse necessary to the offence described in this section. But however, the 5-judge constitutional bench in Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India held that section 377 of IPC is unconstitutional insofar as it criminalized gay sex between consenting adults. So the bench, which delivered 3 opinions along with the leading judgment, reversed the 2-judge bench decision that was previously taken on Suresh Kumar Kaushal versus Naz Foundation, which in turn had reversed the judgment of a division bench of Delhi High Court in the Naz Foundation versus State NCT of Delhi, where the Delhi High Court in Naz Foundation had declared section 377 violative of article 14, 15 and 21 of the Constitution insofar as it criminalized consensual sexual acts of adults in private. So presently section 377 stands unconstitutional, so it is not important. Now we will move on to the next chapter in the next video. So that's all in this video. If you like my videos, then don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.